Gosh, what are you guys doing down there? How's it going? Right, ignoring the fact that I look pre-pubescent without my mustache, I know, it was quite the character. I shall be bringing it back, so don't stress. What are we doing? Making a welding cart for that TIG welder. Now, unfortunately, it has sat on the ground and it's looking worse for wear, even though it's brand new, which is not good. So I should have done this sooner rather than later. But anyway, we're here now. Let's make ourselves the best welding cart ever. Relatively speaking, because it's obviously my opinion. 25mm box section. What a cool transition, hey? Right, all the parts are cut out and they came out bloomin' fantastic, if I do say so myself. I made this whole model in CAD. It saved so much time. It took about 10 minutes. It's a super rough model, but yet, you know, all the dimensions are worked out. I've got a final visualization of what my end goal is. It just helps with concepting. It speeds up the whole process and makes your time really efficient, at least for me. Anyway, let's bring these parts over to the bench and start welding this up. My table is bent to buggery, okay? It is so curvy, it's like a mountain range, which is okay because what I do is I go around my magnets, pull each part up to the same plane, then I weld it. If you don't do that, then obviously it will just be a mirror of your workbench, and if you don't have a nice thick workbench or a nice flat one, then that is your predicament. Anyway, I'll do that and I should have success. Here it is in all its glory. Looks great. This bar though needs to be readjusted. It needs to come down 50 mils. Unfortunately it gets in the way of the cable from out the back of the welder. Bring it over to the welding table and fix that bad boy. So the gussets are just cut, are going to go like so. It's just going to reinforce that whole back end. But before I get the welder and start welding these on, I'll leave this here, not move it, and plasma cut out some of the little additions, and then I'll bring the welder out and do all the welding at once. Right, on with it. Right, so I've got 16 of these little cutouts. Now they're just little gussets that will go on the corner, but not for strength. Actually, so I can line the inside here with the plywood, and that's just going to be the interface that lets me join the plywood to the steel. Now, I will be insetting them about 1.2mm off the face that the plywood will be pulling against. So when you tighten that screw down, it's really going to pull that sheet against the edge and get that really nice flush look. Right, everything's tacked and held together nicely, so let's seam weld it. Got my apron on as well this time because, boy, it hurts when that splatter lands in your crotch. It is less than pleasant. Oh, crikey! All the welding's done. Look at that! Now, I definitely did not forget to hit record, and it's definitely not another day. Anyway, we've got to take this outside now. We're gonna, smooth off all the welds and make it a bit more pretty. So it's 0 degrees. Pretty cold, I must say. Look at that. Bloody gorgeous morning, isn't it? Anyway, let's crack on. Right, so what we're doing here is making the mounts for the casters to actually join to the trolley. Now, these casters are quite small, which is a bit of a concern. It's going to make it quite a treacherous journey to travel across the floor. But that's okay, we'll make it work, because height is a bit of a premium here, and we want it to go under the bench, and so that's a sacrifice we're going to have to make. Right, let's cut this out. Right, so the caster mounts are all done and cleaned up, which is great. Now what I'm working on is a hose reel. This is so I can wrap the lead nicely up. It's got a big surface area, so there won't be any kinks, which is kind of crucial for longevity. Right, we just need to put a nice little curve in this. So the hose sits beautifully, no kinks or creases, and the torch just dangles here, but there's no stress load on it, so I'm actually quite happy with it. Alright, we've got myself some 7mm plywood. I'm just going to use this to skin the inside of the welding trolley and add myself a shelf. Now this will add, a bit of extra flavour and character to the build. We like to spice things up around here. As well as it's going to insulate that welder from everything. Now that welder's case is a ground point. We don't want to be sending any currents to that. We want to keep it nice and safe. Right, let's cut this out. How flash is this? It looks great. It's got enough clearance so I can come in and out without a problem. Oh, very chuffed. Right, let's put the welder out, take the panels off, and continue with some of the metal work. Primo. Right, cleaned up. Last thing to do is slap a bit of colour on. Ever heard of welding cart tricks? Well, now you have. Right, I've used the welding cart for about a week now, nice and compact so I can roll it around the workshop floor and then not be any issues of it tipping, as well as I can pop it under the workbench here, which keeps it as far away from metal dust and grinding which occurs outside, which is probably very important. Now, the only thing to you guys, if you're following along and want to make some adaptations which will make it much better, go for a thinner box section. I had 25mm on hand, so that's why I used it, but if you used a 20 or a 15, I think it would be perfectly strong enough, as well as it would look aesthetically more pleasing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I shall see you in the next one. See ya!